Welcome to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 30 wide receiver rankings for week 13. Richard, you ready?
Let's do this.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Rolling on the field.
Before we get started on this week's rankings, Richard, tell me how you did last week.
If we take out Jamar Chase, who didn't play, we hit on 18 of 29 wide receivers, which is pretty good. It's good. We missed on Mike Evans, Chris Olave, Deebo Samuel, Gabe Davis, Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk, Brandon Ayuk, among others.
You're not going to win them all. So if you haven't watched our videos yet, let me just explain what you should expect. Richard gives his rankings. I use our stat machine to see if you agree or disagree. And hopefully this video will help you set your own lineups. All right, Richard, line them up.
And number one, Tyreek Hill at San Francisco. The Cheetah continues to lead the league in receiving yards. And number two, Devontae Adams, home against the LA Chargers. Devontae Adams is showing signs of life, and he's going to see plenty of targets going up against the Chargers. And number three, Justin Jefferson, home against the New York Jets. It's a tough matchup, but Justin Jefferson keeps on going. He has most yards for a receiver in his first 3 seasons. And number four, Stephon Diggs at New England. We'll see. Buffalo offense hasn't been perfect in the last few weeks, struggling even against Detroit. So we'll see how they do against a better defense. So there are some questions here. And number five, Amon-Ra St. Brown, home against Jacksonville. Amon-Ra produced big time in week 12. We expect that trend to continue. And number six, T. Higgins, home against Kansas City. T had a great week 12. He's going to have to produce again. Jamar Chase is back. We'll see how that affects him. But he's the number one in week 13. And number seven, CeeDee Lamb, home against Indianapolis. Dak Prescott, Dallas, looking good. CeeDee Lamb will get his. Even against a decent defense in Indianapolis, I think CeeDee will be fine. And number eight, Jalen Waddle at San Francisco. You got to like the number two receiver on this explosive offense. Tua has been money all season, even against San Francisco. Both Hill and Jalen Waddle will flourish. And number nine, A.J. Brown, home against Tennessee. Jalen Hurts, number one target. Didn't do much in week 12. There's always the potential for him to do very little, but he can also have a huge game. And when Jalen Hurts does pass, it is to A.J. Brown. And number 10, Jamar Chase. Welcome back, Jamar. Home against Kansas City. We'll see how healthy he is. We'll see how those hips are doing. But they're going to have to pass a lot. Joe Burrow's going to have to pass a lot to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. And number 11, DK Metcalf at the LA Rams. And for every week DK Metcalf plays and is healthier and their knee is better, you're going to see more production. He is a very explosive receiver. And number 12, Keenan Allen at Las Vegas. Keenan Allen is rounding into form, and Justin Herbert is looking better every week. This could be a huge week against the Raiders. And number 13, Amari Cooper at Houston. Amari Cooper could go through the roof with Deshaun Watson. We'll see if that's the case, or if Deshaun Watson is going to spread the ball around, or if Deshaun Watson is going to have a favorite target that isn't Amari Cooper. There are question marks, but I expect Amari Cooper's game to rise, and he's got a fantastic matchup, Houston, this week. And number 14, Mike Evans, home against New Orleans. I still think Mike Evans is the number one target and number one receiver in Tampa Bay. He's the number one red zone target. Had a dud in week 12. I expect him to rebound. And number 15, Deebo Samuel, home against Miami. Deebo is not 100%, but they're going to have to, Jimmy G's going to have to keep up with Tua and that Miami offense. So I think there's going to be a lot of passing in this game, and Deebo is going to need to make some plays. And number 16, Chris Godwin, home against New Orleans. Godwin had a good week 12. I expect that trend to continue, but I still think he's number 2 in that offense. And number 17, Tyler Lockett at the LA Rams. There's enough for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett the way Geno Smith has been passing, and Seattle needs this win. They're going to come out and play extra hard so that offense will produce. And number 18, Christian Watson at Chicago. Christian Watson has 6 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. That's more than many star receivers have all season. So Watson is producing. The question here is Aaron Rodgers' health. But if Aaron Rodgers plays, Watson will continue to produce at a high level. And number 19, Garrett Wilson at Minnesota. Welcome back, Garrett Wilson. Yes, I think Mike White makes a huge difference. We see it. Garrett Wilson is a difference maker. Pick him up. Go pick him up on your waiver wire. Garrett Wilson. With Mike White, I think, again, he will be a producer, a fantasy producer. At number 20, Christian Kirk at Detroit. We love the matchup, even though Christian Kirk at times disappears. But I still think Kirk is Trevor Lawrence's favorite target. At number 21, Terry McLaurin at the New York Giants. Terry McLaurin can explode on any given week. We know he's got the speed. Heineke likes to pass him the ball. Dud of week 12. We'll see if he can rebound. And number 22, Chris Olave at Tampa Bay. Here's a guy I love who's been productive all season, but lately, man, New Orleans has had major quarterback issues. Andy Dalton's terrible. They don't know about Jameis Winston. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to put in Taysom Hill at quarterback? I like that option. I like if you make Taysom Hill a run-first guy, then he can beat some defenses over the top. And again, Chris Olave's value might actually go up. And number 23, Gabe Davis at New England. Gabe Davis has, hit or miss. He's disappeared many a week, as he did in week 12. But there's always the potential for the big play. And as Josh Allen's health improves, so will Gabe Davis's production. And number 24, Brandon Ayuk, home against Miami. As I said before, Jimmy G's going to have to pass it this week to keep up with the Dolphins. And both Ayuk and Samuel should be fine. And number 25, Juju Smith-Schuster at Cincinnati. We don't know which Kansas City receiver to trust, but it looks like Juju is healthy. They're going up against Cincinnati. They're going to have to put up points. I'm going with Juju. And number 26, Joshua Palmer at Las Vegas. Doesn't look like Mike Williams is going to play again. Palmer should be the number 2. I think he should produce against this Las Vegas defense. And number 27, George Pickens at Atlanta. Pickett is looking better. Pickens is his favorite target. He did just enough in week 12. I think he sneaks into the top 30 again in week 13. At number 28, Devontae Smith, home against Tennessee. Devontae, like Miles Sanders, could give you a big goose egg on any given week. Jalen Hurts, is he going to pass? Is he not? Is he going to run more? There are question marks, but Devontae is a stud, and he scores touchdowns when he gets the ball. At number 29, Treylon Burks at Philadelphia. It's a tough defensive matchup, but Philadelphia has some injuries in the secondary, and that defense hasn't looked as great in recent weeks. And Treylon Burks is a playmaker. I mean, last week he scored, recovering a fumble in the end zone, but he still had 70 receiving yards after having over 100 receiving yards the previous week. I think the Treylon Burks train continues. And number 30, Michael Pittman at Dallas. I still think Pittman's the best receiver on this team. And I think Matt Ryan's going to have to pass a lot against the Cowboys. They're going to be behind this game. I think Pittman gets his from the slot. So those are your top 30 wide receivers for week 13.
Okay, before we get out of here, let's just compare some of your rankings to some other rankings. The first one I see is you have Keenan Allen at 12. Some other rankings have him at 22.
Yeah, there are issues about his health more than anything. I think he looked good. I saw some of that game in last week, and I think he looked good. He looked more fluid. So I'm trusting him, and I think Justin Herbert looked better as well.
All right. The next one, we got Christian Watson at 18. Some other rankings have him at 26.
Yeah, I'm loving Christian Watson, and you know what? Every week I've ranked him high, and he's either met or exceeded the expectations. So I'm gonna stick with Watson.
All right. And the last one, Gabe Davis, you got 23. Some other rankings have him as high as 16.
Yeah, but I'm losing a little faith in Gabe Davis. I mean, he gave us a stinker in week 12. Again, Josh Allen, how's that elbow? Is that affecting him? That offense has been a little off the last 3, 4 weeks. So because of that, there's still a lot of question marks. He's obviously a staple in the top 30, but I would just rank him a little lower.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 30 wide receiver rankings for week 13. Can't believe we're here. Any parting words for everybody out there?
Just love your fantasy team. Go Team USA.
Those fantasy good fellas.
Boom, boom, boom. Rolling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.